Good evening, everyone. Today we're diving into a topic that's as uncomfortable as it is transformative. This is why people hate you. Now, let me tell you something. This isn't about tearing anyone down. This is about uncovering the blind spots, the moments we miss when we wonder, why do I feel disconnected? Why does it feel like people pull away? Self-awareness is the foundation of every meaningful change we make in our lives. It's the ability to look in the mirror and see beyond the reflection, to confront the truth of who we are, not just the person we project to the world, but the person we are when no one is watching. It's about recognizing our patterns, understanding our triggers, and becoming deeply aware of the impact we have on others. Often we move through life without realizing the full weight of our words, the energy we bring into a room, or the consequences of our choices. We focus on how others treat us, how situations affect us, and how circumstances hold us back. But the question we rarely stop to ask is, what am I bringing into this moment? How am I shaping the experience of those around me? The truth is, we all have blind spots. There are things about ourselves that we simply don't see, habits, tendencies, or attitudes that may be pushing people away or creating tension in our relationships. Self-awareness is the flashlight that illuminates those blind spots. It's not always comfortable to confront these parts of ourselves. In fact, it can be downright painful. But discomfort is where growth begins, when you operate from all of who you actually are. Think about the last time you felt misunderstood or excluded. Did you take a moment to consider how your actions or words might have contributed to that feeling? It's easy to point fingers, to blame others, or to assume that people are just being unfair. But self-awareness challenges us to flip the script. It asks us to take responsibility for the energy we bring into every interaction. Being self-aware doesn't mean beating yourself up for your mistakes or flaws. It's not about self-criticism. It's about self-reflection. It's about pausing before you react, observing your thoughts and emotions, and asking yourself, why am I feeling this way? Why did I respond like that? What can I learn from this moment? It's a skill. And like any skill, it takes practice. One of the most powerful aspects of self-awareness is the way it transforms your relationships. When you become attuned to how your actions affect others, you start to see the world through their eyes. You notice the subtle cues, a shift in tone, a look of discomfort, that tell you something isn't quite right. And instead of brushing it off or becoming defensive, you take the time to listen, to adjust, and to grow. When you make the time to listen, to adjust, and to grow, the beauty of self-awareness is that it empowers you. It puts you in the driver's seat of your own life. Instead of being a victim of circumstances or other people's behavior, you realize that you have the power to shape your reality. You can choose to show up differently, to break old patterns, and to create connections that are rooted in understanding and respect. But here's the thing, self-awareness is not a destination, it's a journey. There will always be more to uncover, more to learn, and more ways to grow. It's a process that requires humility, curiosity, and a willingness to look at yourself with honesty and compassion. When you embrace self-awareness, you unlock a superpower. You become someone who doesn't just react to the world, but responds with intention. You become someone who inspires trust, builds bridges, and leaves a positive mark on the people you encounter. And most importantly, you become someone who is deeply aligned with their true self. The next time you find yourself in a challenging situation, pause, take a step back and ask yourself, what is my role in this? What can I learn from this moment? Because self-awareness isn't just about seeing yourself, it's about seeing how you fit into the bigger picture. And when you truly embrace it, you open the door to a life of deeper connection, greater fulfillment, and lasting impact. Pain is a powerful force. It has a way of shaping us, influencing our thoughts, and sometimes dictating our actions. When people are hurting, they often carry that pain with them into their interactions with others, consciously or unconsciously. It's not because they want to hurt someone else. It's because their own wounds cloud their ability to connect in healthy ways. When we think about the phrase hurt people, it's easy to imagine someone who lashes out in anger or acts coldly toward others. But the truth is, the ways in which hurt manifests aren't always so obvious. Sometimes it shows up as impatience, criticism, or a tendency to isolate. Other times, it's the subtle but palpable tension in a person's presence, the kind that makes others feel like they're walking on eggshells. This pattern is often rooted in unhealed experiences. Maybe someone was betrayed, abandoned, or rejected in the past, and now they struggle to trust others. Maybe they've faced repeated failures or disappointments, leading them to project their frustrations onto those around them. Pain can become a filter through which they see the world, a lens that distorts reality and creates an us versus them mentality. And what's heartbreaking about this cycle is that it's often unintentional. Most people who hurt others aren't doing so because they are inherently cruel or malicious. They're doing it because they're carrying a weight they don't know how to put down. It's like a thorn buried deep in the skin. They might not even realize it's there until someone gets too close and touches it. Their reaction isn't about the person who touched the thorn. It's about the unresolved pain the thorn represents. Understanding this doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but it does offer a way to approach it with compassion. When someone lashes out, it's tempting to respond with anger or defensiveness. But if we take a step back and look beyond their actions, we might see the pain driving their behavior. This perspective doesn't mean tolerating abuse or mistreatment, but it does mean recognizing that their actions are likely a reflection of their inner struggles, not a measure of your worth. On the flip side, it's important to recognize when we're the ones carrying hurt. Think about the last time you snapped at someone, spoke harshly, or withdrew from a relationship. What was really behind your actions? Were you frustrated, scared, or overwhelmed? Were you projecting your own pain onto someone who didn't deserve it? This kind of self-reflection can be uncomfortable, but it's also incredibly freeing. When you identify the source of your hurt, you gain the power to break the cycle. Healing is the key to breaking free from the hurt people dynamic. It requires courage to face your pain, acknowledge your wounds, and seek support when needed. Healing doesn't happen overnight, and it's not a linear process. There will be setbacks, moments when old pain resurfaces, and times when you struggle to respond differently. But every step you take toward healing is a step toward freedom, not just for yourself, but for the people you interact with. It's also worth noting that healing isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about growing into the person you were always meant to be. When you heal, you gain the capacity to connect with others in authentic and meaningful ways. You become someone who can empathize, forgive, and build bridges instead of walls. And as you heal, you create a ripple effect. Your transformation inspires others to begin their own healing journey, breaking the cycle for generations to come. The next time you encounter someone who seems difficult, angry, or closed off, pause, ask yourself what might be driving their behavior. And if you find yourself reacting in ways that hurt others, take a moment to reflect on what's behind your actions. Because the truth is, we're all human. We all carry scars, and we all have moments when our pain spills over. But we also have the capacity to heal, to grow, and to choose a different path. Pain doesn't have to define us, and it doesn't have to dictate how we treat others. The power to break the cycle is in our hands. There's an unspoken language we all speak, whether we realize it or not. It's the energy we carry, the vibe we emit that people feel before we even say a word. This energy has the power to draw people in or push them away. It's not just about what we say or do, it's about how we make others feel when they're around us. Think about the last time you walked into a room and immediately felt the atmosphere shift. Maybe it was filled with warmth and excitement, and you found yourself smiling without even knowing why. Or maybe it felt tense and heavy and you couldn't wait to leave. That's the power of energy. It's invisible, yet undeniable, and it often speaks louder than anything we could say. People don't just listen to your words, they tune into your presence. They pick up on your tone, your body language, and the subtle cues you give off. Even when you think you're hiding how you feel, your energy often tells the truth. If you're anxious, people sense it. If you're confident, they feel it. And if you're carrying resentment, frustration, or negativity, no matter how much you smile or try to hide it, it still finds a way to seep through. The thing about energy is that it's contagious. When you bring positive, uplifting energy into a space, it has a way of spreading. You've likely experienced this with people who exude joy and optimism. They make you feel lighter, like anything is possible. On the flip side, Negative energy can be just as infectious. Being around someone who is constantly complaining, criticizing, or radiating stress can drain you, even if they don't direct that energy toward you. The way we carry ourselves matters. When you walk into a room with open body language, a genuine smile, and a sense of calm, it signals to others that you're approachable and trustworthy. But if you enter with closed-off posture, a hurried demeanor, or a distracted expression, it can send the opposite message, even if you don't intend to. This isn't about faking positivity or forcing yourself to be someone you're not. It's about being mindful of the energy you bring into the spaces you occupy. Start by asking yourself, what kind of energy do I want to bring to my relationships, my workplace, or my daily interactions? Am I contributing to the kind of atmosphere I want to be a part of? Your energy doesn't just affect others, it also shapes your experiences. When you approach situations with an open heart and a positive outlook, you are more likely to attract opportunities and build meaningful connections. Conversely, carrying negative energy can create a self-fulfilling cycle where your attitude pushes people away, leading to more frustration and isolation. She offers a layered approach to self-discovery through her clients, and isolation becomes a means to reclaim who she is. It's also important to recognize that your energy is influenced by what you're carrying internally. If you're feeling overwhelmed, burnt out, or unfulfilled, that's going to reflect in your interactions. Taking care of your inner world, your thoughts, emotions, and overall well-being is essential to radiating the kind of energy that uplifts rather than drains. This doesn't mean you have to be on all the time. We're all human, and it's natural to have moments of stress or sadness. But even in those moments, being honest about how you're feeling and seeking support when needed is a form of positive energy. It shows authenticity and humility, which can deepen your connections with others. At its core, the energy you project comes from your mindset and intentions. Are you approaching life with gratitude, curiosity, and kindness? Or are you letting fear, frustration, or negativity take the lead? The choice is always yours, and every moment is an opportunity to reset and realign. Remember, people may forget what you say or do, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Your energy has the power to inspire, comfort, and connect. It can light up a room or cast a shadow over it, so be intentional with the energy you bring, because it speaks volumes about who you are, far louder than words ever could. The way we interact with others sets the tone for how we are treated. Consciously or not, we teach people what is acceptable in their behavior toward us. This process begins with our actions, words, and boundaries, or the lack of them. Every time we allow someone to cross a line without addressing it, we send the message that their behavior is permissible. Conversely, when we firmly but respectfully enforce our boundaries, we communicate our worth and set a standard for how we expect to be treated. It's easy to fall into patterns of tolerating disrespect or mistreatment, especially if we fear confrontation or value harmony or value honesty. We might tell ourselves that letting something slide is the better choice, that it keeps the peace. But over time, these small compromises add up. What starts as a single incident can become a repeated behavior, not because the other person intends harm, but because they've been conditioned to believe it's okay. This isn't just about setting boundaries, it's also about the way we carry ourselves. Confidence, or the lack thereof, speaks volumes. When we doubt our own worth, it can show in our posture, tone, and the way we respond to others. This isn't about arrogance, it's about self-respect. People pick up on these cues and often respond accordingly. If we project insecurity or uncertainty, we may inadvertently invite others to take advantage of that vulnerability. At the same time, teaching others how to treat us requires consistency. It's not enough to assert a boundary once and hope it sticks. Repetition is key. Each time we uphold our standards, we reinforce the lesson. This isn't about being rigid or inflexible. It's about showing that we value ourselves enough to expect respect in return. However, this process can be challenging, especially if we've spent years allowing certain behaviors, or if we're dealing with people who resist change. In these moments, it's important to remember that we can't control how others act, but we can control how we respond. By calmly but firmly standing our ground, we send a clear message about what we will and won't tolerate. It's also worth noting that the way we treat ourselves plays a significant role in this dynamic. If we're constantly putting ourselves down, neglecting our needs, or speaking negatively about ourselves, others may subconsciously mirror that behavior. Conversely, when we treat ourselves with kindness and prioritize our well-being, we model the kind of treatment we expect from others. Teaching people how to treat us isn't about creating conflict or demanding perfection from those around us. It's about cultivating relationships rooted in mutual respect. It's about recognizing that we have a voice and that voice deserves to be heard. Growth is one of the most powerful forces for transformation. It offers an opportunity to rewrite your story, to take the chapters of mistakes, pain, or failure and use them as a foundation for something greater. It is a reminder that no matter where you come from or what you've done, there is always a path forward, one that leads to a better version of yourself. The beauty of growth lies in its ability to redefine who you are. It allows you to shed the labels others may have placed on you or the ones you've placed on yourself. It's easy to feel stuck, to believe that the mistakes you've made define you, that the hurt you've caused or endured is an unchangeable part of your identity. But growth challenges that notion. It says, you are not your past. You are what you choose to become. This journey isn't always easy. Growth demands introspection, and introspection can be uncomfortable. It requires looking honestly at the parts of yourself you might prefer to ignore, the habits, attitudes, or decisions that no longer serve you. It asks you to confront the truth of your actions and take responsibility for them. This is not about self-punishment, it's about self-awareness. Growth begins the moment you acknowledge where you've fallen short and decide to do better. One of the most transformative aspects of growth is its ripple effect. When you change, you influence the people and environments around you. A small act of personal improvement, like learning to communicate more effectively or being more patient, can mend relationships, inspire others, and create a sense of healing that extends far beyond yourself. Growth is not a solitary act. It's a gift that keeps giving. Hello. Growth is also deeply tied to resilience. To grow, you must face challenges head-on. You must learn from failure and use it as fuel rather than a barrier. Every stumble, every setback becomes a lesson, an opportunity to refine who you are. The person who emerges from these experiences isn't just stronger, they're wiser, more empathetic, and more equipped to navigate life's complexities. But growth isn't just about overcoming obstacles, it's about creating new possibilities. It's about dreaming bigger, reaching further, and stepping into roles you once thought were beyond your grasp. Growth opens doors you didn't even know existed because it transforms not just what you can do, but how you see yourself. It helps you realize that your potential is limitless, that you are capable of far more than you imagined. And the process of growth also includes forgiveness, both of yourself and others. To move forward, you must let go of the weight of guilt, regret, and resentment. This doesn't mean forgetting what happened or excusing harmful behavior. It means acknowledging the past, learning from it, and choosing not to let it hold you captive. Forgiveness is one of the most liberating acts of growth, allowing you to reclaim your peace and focus on what lies ahead. What makes growth the ultimate redemption is that it's accessible to everyone. No matter how far you've fallen, no matter how many times you've failed, you can always begin again. Growth doesn't require perfection, it requires effort. It's not about where you start, it's about where you're willing to go. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a step toward a better you. Growth also teaches humility. It reminds you that you're not finished, that there's always more to learn and ways to improve. This humility doesn't diminish your worth, it enhances it. It allows you to approach life with curiosity and openness, embracing the idea that even in your imperfections, you are enough, and that you have the power to become even more. Ultimately, growth is an act of hope. It's a belief that change is possible, that you can rise above your circumstances and become the person you aspire to be. It's a declaration that your past does not define your future, and that redemption is not about erasing your mistakes, but transforming them into stepping stones for something greater. Growth is the ultimate testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It proves that no mistake, no failure, and no hardship is final. Through self-reflection, forgiveness, and perseverance, we can rise above the limitations of our past and create a future filled with purpose and possibility. Growth reminds us that redemption isn't about being flawless. It's about embracing our flaws as opportunities for transformation. As we walk this path, we inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of healing and renewal. Growth teaches us that we are always a work in progress, always capable of learning, evolving, and becoming more. It is the process through which we reclaim our power, rewrite our narrative, and step into the fullness of who we are meant to be.